The wedding wasn't much, but the reception was incredible. Hello.
Game audio volume's fine. At least on my end.
Look at Scrub, he's not even beating it on hard on Nightmare. Come on,
Not on
dude,
this
step it up.
I learned this run on easy. I have beaten this game on hard Nightmare before, just other character.
I see.
All right, so I'm gonna give a countdown when I say go. So 3, 2, 1, go.
Excellent.
All right, so we are going to sit through about 2.5 minutes of prologue cutscene. So kind of to just introduce the game. First of all, actually, let's do a roll call. I'm Ghost King, or Ghost King G1.
I'm Pink Pajamas.
And I'm Bowie the Hero.
Anyways, so to start with, if you're wondering how the name of this game is pronounced, Is, or Is, are generally all fine. Some people like to mess with me and come up with something else.
YS. YS is my favorite.
Shoutouts to Rizal. Anyway, so these are the two goddess characters. They play kind of a central role to the story of this game. The character I'm playing as for this speedrun will actually be Toal, who you unlock through beating the game as the other character. And I say the other character because there are actually two, but nobody likes one of them at all. Or at least I don't.
So the first two characters you have are unlocked are Unica and Hugo. And as Ghost said, by completing either of those stories, you'll unlock Toal. Unica is the preferred character because she tends to play with the normal kind of East gameplay. It's very kind of fast-paced, like physical and melee-based combat, whereas Hugo's a little bit more. He's a mage of sorts. So.
Yeah, and Toal is supposed to be sort of a berserker, but in a speedrun setting, he kind of breaks this game. Now, normally, there's about a 3-minute animated FMV that plays right there. I've disabled all FMVs just because they take up time, and it's actually faster to just disable them rather than just skip through them. So Toal is different from the other two characters who are sort of the good guys. Toal works as sort of, he actually starts off on the bad guys side. So these are the Darklings led by Dallas and Zava, who you actually see in East 2 as kind of central villain type characters. This game has a whole bunch of references to East 1 and 2, like bosses and story, because this one's actually a prequel that's set about 700 years in the past. Now, this run is going to be a little something special, and by that I mean you're going to have to ask some very philosophical questions, like what is a door, what is a key, and what is a gate?
I'm pretty sure the devs had the very, very same question.
So this first wave of enemies is really quick. We're introduced to our main form of combat. It's actually fairly simple. So I'm going to do a lunge, and then I'm just going to murder them.
Just to kind of put into perspective, as you probably may not see, Ghost is using the keyboard and mouse function. You can obviously use gamepads, but there's a very, very particular reason why Ghost uses the keyboard and mouse, and it's mainly for setting up some of these doors that we go through, and we'll explain those when we come to them a bit later. But there's also certain ways that he can do battle with it as well, and we'll explain those when they become relevant.
Yeah, so I can only see my mouse cursor whenever it says I receive an item. And by the way, that jingle you've just heard, yeah, it sounds very suspiciously similar to the ones in Metroid. They've had that for 30 years. This game is from a really old series, believe it or not. And somehow they've never changed the jingle. And all right, so we're about to get moving. I can't see my mouse cursor, but it's kind of important, so I'm going to lunge to the statue because the game requires me to do so, and lunging is a little bit faster early on. I have 4 main methods of attack. I have a jump attack like that, a basic combo, a downward thrust, which can stun enemies. It's not super useful, and actually, other characters have an upward attack. I don't think Toal has that.
The specific thing about Toal is that he's actually weaker on the ground, so wherever possible, Ghost is going to be doing aerial attacks because Toal is stronger in the air with his physical moves. Unfortunately, there are a lot of ground enemies, so there's going to be a lot of this mashing here.
Yeah, so I have to kill these red enemies in order to unlock this, which gets us the Cerulean Flabellum, which gives us our first form of magic, and it's special. That's all I'm going to say about it. It's what makes this game a bona fide speedrun.
So this is going to unlock the magic called Godspeed. I know that the Ghost has another name for it. And this has all sorts of properties. And as Ghost said, this is why everything works.
So right there I leveled up. It is an action RPG, but it is kind of more akin to a hack and slash style game. Anyways, so, all right, this is going to be kind of cool looking. Let's see. There.
Nice.
He
got it.
I've never done that before. But anyways,
he did get the jump, but went a little bit too far, unfortunately. But doing the double Godspeed allowed him to reach that jump, which is very, very far away and hard to get. But
all right. So this cutscene is triggered by just stepping in here. Normally, this it just kind of sucks you into one of the floors below, and I need a certain ability to pass through. Now, one thing you'll notice is I tend to run alongside walls, and the reason being is that the way this game was programmed, when you run alongside a wall on your character's right side, and this is true for all 3 characters, you run faster. We call this wall running for short. Godspeed will also give you more distance as long as you're alongside a wall. And this allows us to do a lot of tricks, but also just move fast.
And when you saw back there where he went to, when you fell through the floor, he was supposed to go north and actually fight a boss, which was part of the story. But
ordinarily I have to get the medallion just around here, but we're not actually going to do that. So we need the Rotafruit to feed the Roos, and my incentive was to feed all of the Roos or let them starve. I actually will have to feed 2 regardless, but there's 4 remaining that we can just let starve. And I kind of want to see it get met because... I'll explain that in a moment. Yeah. I want to see it get met because later in the game you get a really cool ability. Bowie describes it as a Gallic gun from Dragon Ball Z.
Everyone kind of sees it as a Kamehameha, but when you see it, it'll definitely look like Gallic Gun. And we actually kind of like completely just went straight over the first actual skip there. As Pink was alluding to earlier, you're supposed to go north when you fall through and fight to get a medallion, but because of Godspeed that Toal has, you're able to kind of position yourself in front of gates and use Godspeed because there are a few areas where you don't have any collision detection, and it allows you to kind of skip through. All of these doors have a kind of setup, and this is why we have a mouse and keyboard combo, because some of them are pixel perfect in terms of the positioning. So Ghost will find the pixel perfectly with using the cursor, and then Godspeed through to get through these gates. There are some that require different setups, and some that are actually quite free just by using the keyboard. But every single door, I hesitate to use the term seriously, but every single door does have a different setup. They have different properties. So it took the community quite a while to kind of find all of the different properties for each door. There was one that was considered un-Godspeedable, but it has been found. So
some of them have some really elaborate setups that I'm just thinking, how on earth did the original routers find them? The original people from... Oh, wow, I ran out of magic there and I didn't notice. Okay. The original routers of this game was, I believe, Extreme Board, Korzik, and one of the current runners who's done a lot with this game is Tsukibaka. So shout-outs to him. I think he's told me he was going to watch this run. So these bats are a real jerk. There's no birds in this game, but the bats are the closest thing to the jerk birds of this game, if we're still doing that for this event.
RPG jerk bat. So as you can see, grounded he was doing 1 or 2 damage, and in the air 8 or 7. So this is kind of where Toal's abilities are put onto place. You may notice that these enemies are actually flashing red. Any enemy that flashes red is a unique enemy in that you have to defeat them all in the room to either unlock certain gates, not that we really need to, or kind of progress the story or kind of create a warp of some kind. These enemies are much stronger in attack and defense and don't give any experience. Don't know why.
They give very little, they give somewhere between like 1/10 and 100th of the experience that a normal enemy would give you. So this unlocks Boost, which kind of just makes Toal go Super Saiyan, if we're keeping up with the DBZ references. One thing I wanted to point out, I don't know if I mentioned this too much earlier, but your lunge attack, which is this, it involves clicking the mouse twice in rapid succession and then doing an attack. and it lowers the defense of enemies hit. It's kind of RNG, but if you hit them enough, it makes things easier. And this is important for a number of areas because it's just additional damage.
So, yes, we needed to defeat those 4 corners to get rid of those barriers. In terms of barriers, those kind of red barriers are one of the few that actually there are some we can't get past. There are a couple that we can, but they're the biggest obstacle to Toal's movement. In terms of fighting, there's also another little technique that Toal has where you can do combo cancelling, where if you're clicking and then moving at the same time, you can cancel out your combo and just slice really, really fast.
Yeah, it involves repeating an animation in a combo by inputting a movement and immediately stopping that movement very quickly. So it works in a bunch of different ways. It also works different in boost. Ideally, in a normal combo, we want to get the first hit. Now, anyway, this cutscene is Toal just kind of meeting up with Unica, the other playable character. Also, I have to point this out because it's amazing. Okay, you can kind of hardly see it on the stream, but in the very corner of the room is a second Toal sprite. And it's kind of easy to miss, but it actually is a graphical glitch caused by the way they render this game in widescreen resolution. I think what they did was they just kind of expanded your view rather than just stretching the screen. So yeah, there's a glitch there. And one of the other runners of this game told me he saw the sprite and thought that, oh, there's going to be a plot-relevant point. So this is combo canceling. I'm just repeating my attack. And I just leveled up twice because I went from level 2 to 4 when I was supposed to be much higher level.
Leveling is actually very important in this run because experience works in a kind of curve. You don't kind of get set experience from enemies. The enemies give it an amount of experience based on what level you are. So there are actually times when we're going to do a little bit of grinding here. We're just going to set up for this next one.
So this skip I actually use the arrow keys for because a lot of skips can be done at a 45-degree angle, which you just use up and left, and you just have to time it and position yourself correctly.
So just kind of finish off the point about experience. So we were going to be sometimes not leveling up, but kind of being just on the cusp of a level, so that the experience you get from a boss is exponentially more to actually give us more level ups than we would if we were actually at the level higher. You'd actually go up, say, maybe 2 levels, then maybe not going up a level at all, because sometimes that one level can be the difference between, you know, half the experience you want or the experience you want.
Yeah, so we used to do this upcoming boss fight, which, again, I'm going to clip through the door because there's... What is a door?
This is another keyboard setup.
So I want to get about the center of the room. This one's taking a while. So for this first boss, originally we wanted to do him with 88 health. The current world record holder, I'm not too sure how to pronounce his name, but he's a Japanese runner by the name of Luhosvi, and he found that it's actually better to do this at 83 because you get more EXP that way.
So just to kind of clarify, when Ghost says 83, because you have, unless you go into your menu, you have no visual idea of what your level is apart from your HP value. So he knows that at a certain level he has 83 HP, so when he's saying 83, he's referring to his level based on how much HP he has.
Yeah, so this boss strategy involves just jumping, attacking him, preferably while in boost, because boost gives you additional hits. And finishing off the combo with a wind magic or Godspeed. And then he will suck in those little bugs, and then just that heals him. And we want to do this in 4 cycles. Anything more than that is just extra time.
This boss is quite tough. You can only do 25% of his damage per cycle, really. But every time you do a cycle, he's dropping these little bugs. These bugs are quite frustrating, but mainly because of the green stuff that they're actually leaving behind. Any kind of green sludge that's on the floor actually kind of has like a sliding property. You kind of skid and just go.
Yeah,
really
you'll see
far.
I'm kind of just moving around in awkward ways. Ah, darn.
Yes.
I was sliding around too much. I couldn't get the cycle off. So
Yeah,
it's
so
going
right
to take
there
a
he
little
just
extra
healed.
time.
So you were saying, Pink?
Yeah. Those little bugs there, when he tries to eat them, like somehow eating your own self heals him, so you want to skip that as much as possible. And here you can see him try and do the attack again, but if you can get enough damage in, you can just completely skip that.
And he's down.
I just went to split by reflex. It's hard to break that sometimes. So a couple things to outline about the version. First of all, we do this run on easy difficulty. The reason we do this on easy is because anything harder tends to just involve more grinding. So why do it? And a lot of the quick kill strats are interesting. Just because it's on easy, though, doesn't mean it's an easy run. There's a lot to learn, and there's still plenty of areas where you can die if you're not careful.
So we've been in what we've seen it, but this is the first cutscene with Epona Pink. Do you want to talk us through Epona's role in this story?
Yeah, she's part of the Darkling kind of bad guy group, in that she... I forget exactly what she's there for, but...
They all kind of have their own little ulterior motives. The other one is Kishgal, who got a namesake in E6. He's just kind of in it to fight, like, strong foes.
Luckily, Toal can jump just high enough for 2 steps at a time, which is nice.
Yeah, we have one jump where he can miss it. A couple other things about it. This version is the English 1.1.1.1 version. The English or I think any version, but specifically Japanese 1.0.0.4 is broken in such a way that it makes the run like just boring. To give you an idea, the other character that people actually run, because nobody runs Hugo, for Unica, her world record in 1.1.1.1, I'll just say 1.1, is about 2 hours and 5 minutes. The broken 1.0.0.4 version is like 123. It's insane how much you can just skip with that, with like an infinite jump trick. Anyway, so this is just Toal flashing back on his life as a knight. Like, he has kind of this lover's relationship with one of the goddesses, the one on the right. You can identify the goddesses. Fina is the one who has long hair, and Rhea has shorter hair and bangs.
So right there, Toal's just talking more normally with the goddesses, since they're not like complete gods, like all-powerful. They're sort of lesser in a way, and because of that, the Darklings were able to take over because they're not completely omnipotent. And that's kind of the overarching story, is that because these goddesses aren't all-powerful, that there have been problems going on, and that's what the kind of good guys that are trying to alleviate. And Toal was part of them before, but he's kind of gone rogue in a sense.
Yeah, after his mentor passes away, he kind of goes on the dark side. Although the thing is, one of spoiler warning. Actually, I don't even want to spoil the story of this game too much. That'll come up later. But anyways, they don't trust him at all. A lot of these enemies will still come and attack him, and he was given kind of quote-unquote permission by the big leader of the bunch, Dallas, to just take whatever he wants, because killing enemies actually gives him power, which is one of the most unique ways I've ever heard of explaining why you level up in a game. Although all the other characters level up, and it doesn't really make sense for them, but it actually kind of makes sense for Toal in a unique way.
Obviously, when he's in demon mode or burst mode, he all of his abilities are increased. Godspeed goes further, does more damage. He's quicker.
The drops right now are terrible. On the bottom left side of my screen, there's a bunch of little bonuses. Say STRDEF and I think, yeah, MP speed. Those increase my defense, strength, and regen rate of magic, which is the bar on the bottom. That is currently green because I have wind magic. Those will increase those.
Yeah, the HUD is very, very important. Coming up to the next boss, I believe it's now that Ghost King is going to want to be going into a battle with about 0.5 or higher on his strength.
+5 is the max. So we want to go for the max. Well, ideally we get it from one of these two. Oh, there we go. Perfect. So we're at 4.5, which isn't perfect, but it's really close.
Every time you pick up one of the jewels, it resets the timer. So you have a timer that slowly goes down when you don't pick up the buffs, but whenever you do get one, it resets. So we're being introduced to Hugo here, who is the character that no one likes, and is in fact Toal and Hugo Fact. They are brothers. Hugo is the younger brother.
Yeah, their last name is Fact, so you kind of see me wince at that pun there. So this boss fight is the biggest barrier to entry to new Toal runners. He is a pain to quick kill. We've come up with a few quicker ways to kill him. So I am going to have to focus pretty intensely on this fight because it's just mashing, mashing, mashing.
Okay. I'll give Ghost his moment to focus here. What you're going to notice is that Ghost is going to try, and because Hugo moves, he wants to try and keep him in the corner. So whenever Hugo tries to move out, he will Godspeed behind or past him to try and push him back into the corner. He's got this little gun, this little shield on, which we need to try and break as quickly as possible.
These mines do an insane amount of damage when I'm not in boost, as do all of his abilities. So I'm going to have to go for the slow fight on here.
Yeah. It was very, very good, but took a few too many hits here and there, and we're now down to 31 HP. Now it's becoming Toho.
Yeah, there's... Okay.
Ooh. That was close. Almost there.
It's really hard to combo cancel on this guy consistently. It took me a lot of practice. There we go.
And there it is.
So that was really slow, but at least it's under 21 minutes, which is not atrocious.
So just going back to the HUD very, very quickly. On the bottom, it's very a lot of run. Some people don't see it, some people do. Ghost admittedly did say that he was running the game for ages and never noticed that there was in fact an experience bar on the bottom. So he'll set himself up so the experience bar is just towards the edge, and you saw just there he got multiple level ups just there.
Yeah, I do that for certain boss fights. Not so much that one, but anyways, it is kind of important because there's a bar that says EXP times 1 point something. For every hit you do on an enemy, you increase your experience that you'll gain once it's dead by that much percent, up to 199%, which you want to keep 199% for any boss that has a sprite rather than a model like the first one, Valagander.
So we're introduced here to Kishgal, another one of the Darklings, who is a little bit suspicious of Toal. These two will butt heads multiple times over the course of the run. And then he just heads off. He just comes by and shouts a few words at him, showing that kind of distrust, and then off he goes.
Yeah. Kishkal was like, "Why didn't you finish them off?" And he's like, "They weren't in my way. They didn't actually stop me. The investigation team just went there to save Hugo, and because they were kind of familiar with Toal, he was a previous kind of...
He was previously a knight who actually worked with them. Yeah. So this Claria ore I just picked up is what increases my strength. I got one from feeding the root earlier. And Toal is unique amongst the characters in this game that he just absorbs it automatically, which is really nice for a speedrun because other characters have to teleport back to the first floor and talk to an NPC in order to increase their max strength. And it is essential for this run because, damn it, we do so much fighting in this game.
So Ghost King's just going to make his way across to the end of this dungeon and kind of walk through a little water section. So whilst we're making our way, if we have any donations now, it might be a quick
just 1 sec.
1 sec?
Yeah, we got that first try.
That was a very, very quick jump. Sorry, I did forget that was coming up.
All right.
That jump's like nice and perfect. So.
Yep, nice job on Ghost King, because we got a donation from Suki Baka for $50.
Thank you,
which
Suki.
says, "I can't believe you remember about me thinking Toal Clone was a plot device. I will donate additional $5 for every ghost that Ghost King pulls. This year has been a wonderful year watching RPG Limit Break. You guys are doing amazing. Please put this towards naming Yusha in Half Minute Hero 2, Kazuko."
Okay.
Nice.
Thank you, Suki. Yeah, so Suki has the world record for Unica by a pretty sizable, he's been running this game for a very long time. Anyway, so what I did back there was I equipped these Sea Dragon scales. They work in my inventory rather than my equipment. So those prevent me from drowning. It's the reason we have to fight Hugo. We can't just skip past him. Anyway, so that gate right there that I clipped through, I need to do at a 45-degree angle. I've never found a consistent mouse setup. So I got that first try, which is great.
And that was with keyboard, with the arrow keys, as he alluded to, saying he wasn't using the mouse there. The wall running not only makes you move faster as well against the wall, but when you are falling in these kind of like water sections, if you kind of go against the wall, you descend quicker as well. So this is why you'll sometimes see ghosts kind of going in circles to kind of clip the walls and just push them down just a little bit faster here and there.
Okay, so we're going to grab this Rotafruit here, which will feed the second Rue. I'm going to do the cutoff for the Rue incentive after the Centipede boss in about 5 minutes.
Mind if I read another donation or two?
Go right ahead.
All right, let's see here. All right, so first off, we have a $25 donation from Dark Lord Dracula. Hey, Ghost King, here's a donation on behalf of the custom Robo community. Best of luck in your run. Thank you for working with this amazing organization. Put this money towards the runner's choice.
Okay, so I had an agreement with Bowie. Runner's choice will be for physical strats for Final Fantasy Venture.
All right.
So the magic I just got right now is the 11 strike hammer, or it's the equipment that I got, and that lets us use earth magic. Wow. Okay, that doesn't happen very often. I usually take at least a couple tries, and I got first try both times.
It's very good.
So I have to kill these turtles here, and they're only weak to thunder, which is why we skipped past them. Otherwise, they take no damage from anything. Okay, one last one here.
Looks kind of funny because it looks like they're thunder turtles themselves.
It's kind of ironic, but yeah, we're underwater, so I guess water conducts electricity or something.
Something like that. It is a game. It's always a bit hit and miss.
Oh, I got another donation. This one is from Shadow Killer 4826 for $100. 100 floors, $100. Congrats to That's Fair Zach with the amazing Ancient Cave run. We didn't get a Dragon Con in the cave, so let's get one in FF6. Good luck to all the runners.
Tsuki mentioned something earlier about pulling a ghost. In the East Origin speedrun community, which by the way is a great speedrun community, there's a lot of us who are very active. It's growing pretty fast as a speed game, lots of both Unica and Toal runners, which is pretty cool to see a community kind of come together despite the fact that these characters are like night and day in their speedruns. But anyways, in the community, I have a tendency to make really silly little gaffes. And so I pledged that I would donate $5 for every quote-unquote ghost I pulled, which would be like forgetting something, falling into a pit, messing up in the next area on a pseudo-platforming segment. And so far, I haven't had any major mess-ups. I wouldn't call that Hugo fight. Wait, yeah, I had the mess-ups in... I had the mess-ups on the first floor, so I guess I'll count that as one.
Just one. I think you fell a few more times than that ghost.
Shut up, Bowie.
So these statues here that is kind of glowing in the back, obviously we're going to destroy these three red guys, and that will unlock this statue. These are save points, and there are multiple things you can do to them. Obviously, you can save, then you can trade in your SP on the bottom. This isn't really used in a speed run, but in a casual run, you can use SP to get certain bonuses, like you can have your running speed, you have more time of those buffs that you get, and you can upgrade armor. Ghost is just going to go for a mouse setup, I think, here.
Yeah, this one's been kind of finicky for me. I know a mouse setup, but it's a little slow if I don't get it right. There we go.
Nice.
So this boss right here is something else. He is probably one of the most hated bosses amongst both casual players and speedrunners, just because it's hard to consistently get him right. So what I want to do is hit him a couple times with the charged Thunderclaw, which is why we fed the Rue earlier, because he gave us a Topaz, which allows us to get this sort of orb of energy attack.
Yeah, getting the gems. He got an emerald earlier now, and he got a topaz from the Rue, and that it also increases the attack damage, but getting the first one lets you charge the magic to do an even stronger version of that magic.
There's actually a nice little bonus to the thunder magic that you actually recover 1 HP per hit, which allows Ghost just to kind of keep up in his HP here and there.
I missed the tail, so Gonna be able to do enough to knock out all of the spikes, but not enough to finish off the head. That strat's a little hard, and I fight this fight a lower level than I used to, which makes it a little, takes a few more hits to actually do this. Ah, darn, I did not plan to have that very well. So after this boss, I'll cut off the Rue incentive because I get the next Rotafruit in the next area very quickly.
This is quite trolly. So basically, he can roll from anywhere between 2 and 4 times sometimes. But also, if when he stops rolling, either the tail or the head, where you need to hit is like on the top, you can't reach it. So lucky enough to have it on the bottom there. Nice boss. A few level ups into that one as well.
Yeah, the nice thing about bosses like that is the amount of EXP they give you is fairly stagnant. It doesn't matter how many times you've hit them, so you don't have to worry about the EXP meter.
All right, Ghost King and everyone. When should we cut off the Rotafruit?
Now.
Right now.
All right, I will do one final refresh. Give me a moment here.
All right.
Drum roll. Let's see here. All right, here we go. So, with $42.50, Feeding the Ruse wins over Starve, which was at $40. So we get to save the adorable things. I mean, Oh.
All right, that's wonderful. I actually really wanted to see that incentive get met. It's not faster overall, but some cool things happen. So, just because I kind of want to make this run at least somewhat traditional, you get a bit of extra equipment from feeding the Ruse. I probably won't be equipping that unless I find myself unless I end up dying in Blighted Blood, which is a rather challenging area.
And that cutscene there was pretty much just more character development that happened previously with the goddesses.
Yeah,
They're
Toals has a really kind of cheesy but romantic line of like, the goddess says she's something like I'm not perfect, and he's like, well, if you're even half of perfect, you're better than like anyone else or something like that. And it's really kind of cheesy, but it's also kind of charming. So
It is an anime game, don't worry.
yeah. By the way, it's kind of hard to fully. I don't know how well the game audio is doing this, but the soundtrack to this game is actually really quite something special. Falcom, actually, the company that makes this game, is known for their soundtracks quite a bit, because they have a dedicated sound team for making the soundtracks of their games, and they've valued it for a very long time, how much soundtracks are important. So I wanted to hit 52 for this next boss fight, or 152 for this next boss fight.
Did you miss the Rotafruit in the previous room?
I did. I'll go back for it.
This kind of area is big for the infamous ghosts, so this is a big moment here, so I'll let him get it and then we'll explain.
Okay. There we go.
Nice. So what he did there was he used Godspeed to kind of land in on this cutscene moment. There will be a boss fight after this cutscene. This is Toal meeting up with Fina, the sister to Rhea, who is the other goddess. Obviously, Rhea is Toal's love interest, and Fina is not, to put it quite simply.
Yeah, so kind of we're trying to find the two goddesses in the tower. They've split up, and one of them has the Black Pearl, which is sort of the plot MacGuffin of this game. It's like this really powerful orb of dark magic that we do not, well, the heroes don't want to fall into the bad guys' hands. Although Toal has kind of his own objective here. So now Zava comes in, and Fina is now cornered.
And the goddess is more worried about Toal being alive and well rather than the fact that he's become a demon.
Mm-hmm. So here to come to the rescue is this priest by the name of Father Shion. He, I don't know, I find his face kind of creepy, to be honest.
One of those evil people. He definitely seems a little bit evil on first glance.
Yeah, so what I want to do first is immediately switch over to Thunder Magic, because if I accidentally do Godspeed again, it will cancel my invulnerability here. So I entered this boss fight with no collision,
This was why he used the Godspeed to land into the cutscene trigger, because he lands on the frame in which there's no collision detection. That first of all allows the door and gate clips, but because there's no collision detection, he cannot even be hit. It's not like he's taking 1 or 0 damage. He just is not taking damage at all. Like,
Yeah, I can actually run through his hitbox too, which is even sillier. The programming in this game.
Yeah, if I recall correctly, it was Spooty Biscuit, one of the other runners of this game, that found that trick.
Yeah, he found it completely by accident, and there was no setup at the time. Since then, we've found 2 other instances where you can do that. So what I want to do is kind of wait for him to cast a spell, and then lunge into him, and then just finish him off.
Nice.
So I have to remember to go back and feed the Roo, because I... that's another $5.
It's 2. Do we have a ghost counter by any chance? 2 on the
I'll leave that to you, Bowie.
Okay, no worries.
There's a pen there.
There's a pen down there. Oh no, Bob's got one. Thank you very much, sir.
I could probably go back and review the first 20 minutes for 3. Anyway, so the good guys kind of show up in this cutscene to kind of save Father Xian and try and save Fina, although we get away with kidnapping her. So this is a fairly long cutscene that kind of just goes over Toals. Kind of the goddess talks with Toal, and the bad guys are like, we've kidnapped you, and we don't trust you, Toal. So this would be a good time for a donation.
All right, I will check to see if there are donations. See here. We do not, so I will just give some more information about the marathon and what we're doing here. So this is RPG Limit Break 2016, and we are in Salt Lake City, Utah, raising money on behalf of NAMI, which stands for the National Alliance on Mental Illness. This is made especially poignant as May is Mental Health Month. Join the conversation on Twitter using hashtag ACT4, as in the number 4, mental health, or hashtag stigma free. And during the event, you will hear us talking about incentives and prizes. This means that you can get to vote with your wallet to name characters, gather runners to complete difficult or ridiculous tests, or help pick which story you want to see in certain games. You can also become eligible to win prizes donated by community members. All donations go to NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness. And I can talk a little bit more about the prizes that we have for this game and the next one coming up. So,
Go right ahead.
All right, see here. So first off, we have Borderlands Wrist Cuff, donated by Garrick1. And for that, you want to be donating $10. And we also have, also from Garrick, a Horde Wrist Cuff, which also, to be eligible for that, just donate at least $10. Both of them are custom leatherwork wrist cuffs. And the other 2 prizes that we have a Steam key for Half Minute Heroes, The Second Coming. This one was donated by GNotBDF, and for that, just donate minimum $5. And finally, we have a Falcom Heroine set. So we have a set of like 3 Nendoroids, or like small figures, and this one features the goddess Fina as seen in this game. So if you ever want to have the chance for the goddess Fina to be in your home, just donate a minimum of $10 so you too can have Fina, just like in this game.
I would totally get in on that. We all know
We have it
Fina
right there.
We all know Fina is the superior goddess.
Yes. Well, I personally am a fan of slightly shorter hair and bangs, so I'm Team Raya. But so what happened there was Fina was obviously put into a magic spell, basically a magic like cage, a dome. Toal actually showed some kind of concern at this. He's like, wait, what's going on right now? Trying to kind of keep his cool, because even though he is on the side of the baddies, the Darklings, he does obviously still have those kind of. He does have that care for the goddesses. So also regarding those save statues, we don't obviously get all of them, but Ghost will pick up certain ones because they're very, very handy for him to warp to. You see him warping here and there. Good Godspeed, like that. There we go, nice. Second time.
All right, so I'm actually going back here because it's the first time I actually forgot to grab the Rotafruit. There we go.
So to note in that large cutscene there is kind of the base for the Darklings, and that's where they're keeping the goddess.
Yeah.
And you saw that chest in the cutscene. It's something called a key. I'm not sure what it is. So
Key, you say?
yes.
Yeah, we have no idea. We're given the silver harmonica by Fina, which was actually a kind of gift that Toal gave to Rhea. And so it's kind of a plot device because for the other characters, it allows them to dispel evil. Toal can get through areas that he would need to dispel evil just by turning into a demon.
This is a very important cutscene as well in terms of the overall story. So Unica, who's like the main character, let's say, because no one likes Hugo, she lost her father previously to the story beginning.
Yeah, so this is Saltova, her father. He appears in both her story and Toal's because Toal was actually sort of a Saul was his mentor, so now he's kind of appearing, and Toal's like kind of lamenting, you know, his deceased master, who taught him a lot, and kind of now that Toal is defected, he's kind of not sure what he wants to do. And he even says at the end of this cutscene, I'm kind of just going to keep going to see what happens. Nice thing about text in this game, and most Falcom games that I've played, is you only need to hold down a button. I actually just hold down my X key, and I don't have to do anything to skip text. So there's a lot of cutscenes in this game to go through, so it definitely helps that I don't have to do much for it.
And I believe it was Commander Saul and Toal that went rogue at the same time to try and do the entire things themselves because they want to stay rogue kind of in secret, sort of because they suspect that there's a spy on their own side.
So I mean, obviously we've now got the third and final, let's say, magic spell. We do have obviously the Gallic gun coming out later for collecting more rubies, but these three spells have different abilities. Obviously Godspeed for movement. You've got the damage coming from the earth spell, and then the fire spell for height, I guess, because you can see when you use it, he jumps up. When you charge it, you can also kind of like glide with it. So
yeah,
it's very, very, very good.
Oh, there we
There
go.
we go. I was just about to say.
I knew I was going to do that. I completely messed up my jump.
$15, sir.
50.
15. God, yeah. 10 errors, please.
Please, not that bad at this game. Most of the time.
This is a notorious room. A lot of runners against have sometimes died to those slow rotating blades. It's very easy to get caught with them because you have very little hit stun and knockback, so you can just take like 3 or 4 hits really, really quickly. And if you make an error and you're unprepared for it, you can just get shredded completely.
Yeah, there are a lot of things that just about every runner manages to do at least once. It's kind of an it's kind of an initiation to this game. Is you're going to die to these saws at least once. You're going to drown at least once.
Ooh.
I'll take the safe way around.
Yeah. Obviously, there are faster ways to do that, but doing that is the moment that kind of causes those little issues here and there.
So I blast through that room because I'm actually going to reload this room after the cutscene, so I can just go to the save statue, which replenishes my magic to full as soon as I touch it. And that saves a little bit. I just picked up the ruby, which gets me the charged inferno, which is what lets me do this sort of hover trick, and that lets us do probably my favorite and my least favorite trick, respectively, in the entire game. And it's sad as my least favorite trick is one of the ones that I ended up finding.
Can't win them all.
Yeah, Unica was just trying to get through the demon corridor there, and since she wasn't a demon and she couldn't dispel the corridor either, she just kind of fell down, and Toal just felt a little human and actually decided to save her from the corridor.
Yeah, he also gives her the Lotus Blade. Why did I do that? I wouldn't call
Does
that
that count as a ghost?
No, it doesn't, because it was so minor. It was, but like, it was kind of silly. So I had a full boost, but I grabbed a boost max anyways, which I actually shouldn't be fighting these guys right now because it actually doesn't matter. I was supposed to kill time. I want my boost to run out. Actually, okay, I'm gonna call that pulling a ghost because again, I'm forgetting the route here. So this, that's 20. So this gives me the Ring of Ease. I don't normally pick this up, but since I don't have any accessories other than this yet. It's actually faster to equip it because it increases my magic regen a little bit, and that allows me to save a little bit of time over the run with just having more magic to spend on Godspeed.
Just a little Easter egg in this game. Obviously, when you speak to the Ruse, they have this kind of like demonic language that you can't understand. If Toal is in his boost as the demon, you actually understand what the Ruse are saying, and you can speak to them.
Yeah, that ties into a mechanic in East 2 where you turn into a Rue and can talk to demons. So it's a nice little touch that they added into this game.
I didn't actually know that. And in some of those pots, there's boost increasing items, which allows him to actually get through the corridor without taking too much damage, since he needs to stay in boost pretty much the entire time to just survive.
Yeah, I take 7 or 8 damage per second, and while you can get through a chunk of it without doing that, you have to use it eventually. Especially if you're going to kill the enemies, because you need to get past that barrier. We've tried seeing if we can clip past the barrier. You can get into the corners, but you just clip underneath and fall to the part of the tower below, so it doesn't benefit you in any way. This next trick requires clever use of the Inferno. So let me do this. First try.
First try. If you do that in boost mode, it's actually a little bit harder to get because of the way it affects the magic.
Yeah, Inferno kind of works a little differently with boost, not too much. It might just be me like having a harder time with the animation because the animation is different. But anyway, it's just kind of a pain.
Just as also kind of like an aside, the visual work they did in this game as well, because you're mentioning the music over, the visual work is beautiful. These kind of like very nicely rendered 3D models that are so very, they're very sprite-like, and the way in which they're done is so very clever.
Yeah, this game was actually made in 2006. Sadly, we didn't get it in the States until Xseed localized it in 2012, which shoutouts to Xseed. I'm actually a big fan of the way they localize their games.
So here we're grinding to a certain level. I believe it's 175.
Yeah, I want to get 175 with enough from one more mob of enemies that the next boss, I will fight him at 175 with close to a level up. So this next boss has a really silly trick. I'm going to try for it just because, you know, I can. We seem to be pretty good on time. It'll only cost like 20 seconds if I mess up and can save 6 seconds, but more importantly, it looks really cool. I've had difficulty replicating it in RTA. The runner who does it most is Felvisage. So he actually, when he had world record at one point, he was able to pull it off in a successful RTA. Which, oh yeah, the Ring of Ease, I kind of misspoke. The Ring of Ease, I think, makes it so I use less magic. So I can just dash more.
The MP recovers over time. You kind of get the visual bar and also a number next to it, so you can kind of get a visual aid of how quickly it restores itself.
Yeah, so this guy, he's not quite the hardest boss in this game, but he can get some people a lot of trouble. In East 2, he is quite possibly one of the most ugly bosses I've ever seen. You just see his head, and he spits out this intestine-looking worm that just is really gnarly to try and fight.
It's gnarly, dude.
Also to note with the fire magic, each character has a magic in this game where if they use it and while they're using it, they'll guard an attack. And in this case, Toal's fire magic, whenever he uses it, will attack and guard. As you can see, like the guard and 0 damage there.
So I'm not going to be able to 3-cycle this, which is the trick, because I keep on messing up this. But I'll show you what we do for it. So you can actually jump into his head, which is quite amusing. And you can use that to do more than a quarter of his health, because ordinarily you just 4-cycle this guy. And if you do that twice and you do at least 38% of his health, you can actually finish him really quickly. I don't know why I seem to be jumping up like that. So this fight is actually going surprisingly clean.
So you can see he's using the charged fire magic just to boost up kind of get as much damage as he can as soon as that fist comes down. And done. Very nice.
There's no real plot importance with this fight. It's just along the way.
Yeah, the bosses in this game are actually really cool. They're very distinct from one another, and they have really cool designs and just fight patterns.
Yeah, unless it's a character about the same size as Toal, it's not a plot important boss. Except
Yeah.
maybe the final boss.
They're all references to bosses that appeared in East 1 or 2. So the next area is Shifting Sands. We got quite a long cutscene here. Or sorry, did I say Shifting Sands? It's Silent Sands. I'm thinking of Super Mario 64. So this cutscene is just Toal kind of talking with Unico. He's like, thank you for saving me. I kind of misunderstood who you were when we first met. Anyways, so we got a little bit of time for donations.
One second.
All right, so first off, we have $20 from AZHP. Mental illness is something my girlfriend, as a future doctor, will have to deal with on a daily basis. And it's such a misunderstood concept. Here's to this money going to a good cause. Then we have a $30 donation from Anonymous. I've been looking forward to this run the whole marathon. East is a pinnacle of action RPGs in my opinion, and Origin is one of my favorites. Shoutouts to Ghost King for doing this run, Falcom for being the best, and my girlfriend Josie for being an inspiration. Donation goes to runner's choice. Which was that again?
Final Fantasy Advance, or
Adventure.
Adventure. Final Fantasy Adventure physical mode.
And would I have a chance to plug in some of the bids that we have?
Sure.
All right, so let's see here. So first off, we have a several for Daggerfall, so I'm gonna do a refresh here. Give me one moment. All right, so first off, we have the character name for Daggerfall. So we have three things right now. So we have The Law at $75. We have German Ramo Larmi at $60, and ABCDEFGHIJBLBLBL haha at $7. I can't believe I said that.
Sorry, German Restream, but I gotta give it to the law.
All right, and as for the character portrait, so we have several choices. So you can replace the default character portraits with other images. In $120, we have Judge Dredd in the lead, followed by the Demon Chocobo at $53, Alundra's at $1, and the rest which are at $0, but you can put your money towards. We have we have Ness, Kefka, and Bowie, as in the Shining Force 2 Bowie. Oh, hi, Bowie.
Really? Pure, you're a beast.
You sure you don't want me to move my incentive to that?
And
Well, think about it. Your choice, dude. It's your choice.
all right, and we do
That's
have.
my choice now.
Well, now, yeah, why not?
Oh man, we do have an empty one right now. So for the class name in Daggerfall. All right. Oh. All right. So we do actually have a donation coming in. Let's see here.
We will explain this cutscene just after we kind of restart. Whilst the donations are just coming through.
Do you want me to do that?
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
So the first cutscene there, it was Toal giving the harmonica to one of the goddesses, Rhea?
Rhea, yeah.
And it was just a simple harmonica, and he didn't think of anything special. It was just like a little gift that he gave to her, and so she enjoyed the little music that she had and the little company that she had, because she's kind of lonely as a goddess.
Ah, I missed that.
That's quite a hard trick. I won't count that one as a ghost.
It's not. I count it.
You'd count it, okay.
It's for charity, man.
$25.
This one, no matter how many times I mess up, doesn't count because this is so pixel perfect. I actually have to lean into my monitor.
This is.
And that harmonica that we saw earlier is actually a plot point. You've probably heard that specific tune quite a few times already, and it's kind of the theme of this game.
Yeah.
And the second cutscene there was Commander Tova. That was the cutscene where he noticed that there was a kind of spy amongst everyone.
Dang, I'm
So-
really messing this up.
It's okay,
So
it's
it was just he and Toal going rogue themselves into this tower. So
Yes.
that's kind of the ulterior motive of Toal,
So
is
the-
that by becoming a demon that he can figure out, or
Okay.
he can kind of
Okay,
do
since-
things on his own and kind of bypass the spy that's in their group.
All right, so I normally hate to do this, but at this point I kind of have to.
So I, mean, I believe that is the door that for a while was thought to be unskippable. But that was, I believe that is right. That is the one that was very, very tough.
There's actually quite a few that were like that. Also, I'm supposed to be teleporting here. So normally when I run this game, I play with mouse keys, which allow me to move pixel by pixel on a numpad, and that allows me to do that trick much quicker. But I unfortunately don't have that right this moment, so I'm just gonna go out of my way to grab the.
Grab this thing called a key.
I am.
I heard
ashamed.
legends of keys.
This is a legendary run right here. We're seeing it live.
I haven't used a key in the 3 months since I've run this game.
Yeah, I mean, but that doorway is very tough to.
It's basically pixel perfect, and the pixel is it doesn't have a very good visual indicator at all.
Mind if I do another donation?
Go right ahead.
All right, so we got $5 from Anonymous. This donation goes to the Daggerfall class name Werewolf, WHEREWOLF. Maybe it makes it easier to find when looking for the same species. Good luck to all the runners, smiley face.
Thank you very much. There's a cool few momentum boosts in this section that we're gonna be coming up against, because certain plots of sand actually have like slide mechanics rather than the normal kind of quicksand slow you down kind of style that you see in quite a few games. So these are the Demon Greaves, that obviously the equipment that the Roos give, and Ghost obviously will not really use these, but we'll
Save
equip
the
them.
frames. It's actually faster to take hits because the lower my health is, the quicker my boost meter recovers. I also didn't mention, but the item I just picked up in that room was the gold bracelet, which lets me do a double jump.
Yes.
So that not only is it really essential to the game and being able to do double jump sections, but it actually allows us to kind of break the game in some ways.
So these enemies are unique in the fact that they're undead. So you can't actually defeat them. They're gonna pop up again just here. Weirdly in different places than you just slew them. So I don't know.
It's the power of cutscenes.
And here we see Goddess Rhea able to take out the undead because she's a goddess.
Well, that, and she has in her possession an item that she's about to give to Toal, the silver chimes, which you actually can equip to kill undead things faster. But we actually don't kill anything undead other than, we don't even fight anything that's undead other than those guys, so we don't need to equip it. But it is important for the story, and in the Unica run, they have to use it, I think, once or twice.
Just a reminder that Goddess Rhea is so much cooler than Athena. Personal opinion.
Just a reminder that Falcom made a Nendo of Fina and not Rhea.
Fair enough.
I guess one thing I didn't mention with Toal is that he left with Commander Tova without actually saying anything that they were going to leave. And here he's showing I am a demon. This is what I've become. And Rhea still accepts that and is still glad that he is safe.
Yeah, it's kind of sad we're only able to kind of gloss over the plot because there is a ridiculous amount to explain. There's a whole bunch of little minor things that I kind of just can't explain in the hour and 50 minutes that this run has.
I mean, and also this is kind of the third perspective you have. So this, obviously, because you unlock this after playing one of the other stories, you would already have the knowledge of kind of what happens on the good guy side of things before you kind of see this perspective. So you would have already been introduced to a lot of the characters. So they're the likes of Epona and Kishgal. You've already experienced them and know kind of what their plot device is in the further reaches of the story.
So my recommendation would be to get this game. It's on Steam, and when it goes on Steam sales, it's actually a really good price. I picked this up during the Steam Summer Sale last year after a runner who submitted a donation earlier by the name of Crush Dude Run ran it for an online marathon. So shout outs to him. So this door right here, nobody ever bothered finding a skip for it because it was just like, why bother? And I ended up looking for it and finding it really quickly. It's kind of pixel perfect and it doesn't save. It's when done perfectly, it saves like 3 seconds, so it's really not much, but I just wanted to kind of show it off. I just missed it.
Go on, you got this. You got this.
It's really hard to adjust the mouse with my hand, pixel by
Nice.
pixel. There we
That's
go.
very, very difficult.
I've made far bigger time saves, and the one tiny little trick gets the applause.
It's not about the time save though. It's about the
Yeah.
difficulty of the trick.
Thank you guys. So these scarabs on the ground here are absolute nightmares because, as Bowie said, there's very little like hit stun and iframes. They can just combo you to death.
Anyone who's played the Ark of Nepishtim
Oh my
will
God.
know about the bugs when you kind of leave the first segment and you can just get comboed to hell.
I've never done that before, so that'll be an additional $5.
30. That's $30, not 30 ghosts.
Speaking of ghosting, I got a relevant donation for you.
Go right ahead.
All right, so we got $50 from Tuckstuff. Yo, Ghost King from the East Elf community. Always stoked to see an East Run marathon. Fun fact, good luck to the run and delivering righteous discipline to the Wayward family. I also match Suki's $5 per ghost, Unica Ski.
Fun fact, like it.
All right, and then we got $10 from Buddy C. Awesome work, guys. Keep it up.
All right, so this trick right here has a setup that most people use on the right side of the door, and it's really, really precise. So I found my own setup that's, like, I was trying for an hour at the old setup to do this, and I was just like, this is too hard. Wonder if there's a setup on the left, and I found it very quickly.
Yeah.
So this one, mine's a little different because it's kind of timing reliant, but it's much more lenient on where you have to place the mouse. So get ready for quite possibly the most, like, silly example of this game's physics at work. So, let's see if I can do this.
This time.
Ah, I missed
Go
it.
back, it'll be fun.
I can't do that.
So unfortunately, he got hit by one of the spinning spikes. But had he managed to get underneath and over, he would have just kind of gone like the speeder sound.
You go really fast in that room because you accelerate on the sand.
It makes no sense why.
So
Yeah.
right when you step on the sand and then let go, it just does something really crazy. I suggest you check like a run that gets it. The current record run is held by, as I mentioned earlier, a Japanese runner by the name of Lohosvi, and he like came out of nowhere and just kind of sniped a lot of the times. And his run right now is a 132.40, which is insanely good.
And note that the last door that he skipped actually skipped the entire annex portion, which is basically just cutscenes where
There's 3 minutes of cutscenes, kind of just Toal talking with Fina and grabbing
kind of
a similar object to one that we just grabbed earlier when I did the Walk of Shame.
yeah, and it's mostly about Toal just kind of questioning his own kind of path that he's chosen, but the gods still just approving of whatever he does.
A lot of the cutscenes are kind of like that. So all the ones that we've been seeing, these kind of flashback moments, it's his psyche kind of going through, you know, all the memories he's had, and it's kind of, you know, those are the things that kind of sticking in his mind and kind of, let's say, plaguing his current conscience. You know, is he making the right decision?
Yeah,
So I'm doing a safety save there because this trick, I never mess it up, but I've messed it up once, and I don't want that to happen.
Nice.
There we go.
Nice.
So that door right there actually is not loaded because it was never coded to actually be in the game. I literally just jumped over a boss trigger, and it's one of the most annoying bosses in the game, so it saves like 3 to 4 minutes not fighting him.
So-
Hugo's running animation,
Yeah.
man.
So here's
He's as
Hugo,
slow
and
as he is in his actual game. I hate you, Hugo.
here's Hugo. He's being jealous of his older brother, and the power that he has right now. So, and Toal is telling him to that Hugo was actually the superior choice for being the heir of the family.
Yeah, the Fact family is kind of a major family in the games. In the first and second game, there's a book called the Book of Fact. Although their family has kind of a dark history that especially starts with this game. The final boss of East 1 is a guy by the name of Dark Fact. And yeah, it's just there's kind of this tradition in the early East games of a character with the name Fact having some sort of evilness. So Dallas and Zave come in here to kind of tempt him with more power.
Hey kid, want some demon power?
So yeah, I mean that's kind of alluding to Hugo's weakness of his mind. You know, that he's because he's jealous and he wants to be stronger. He wants to be, because Toal's more accomplished, even though Hugo has more potential. Let's say he kind of wants, you know, what Hugo and what Toal has. So that kind of takes his part in there. This is a really annoying section.
You can actually jump. Wow. You can actually jump through the grates, but it's really hard and there's like no consistent setup for it.
Yeah, I saw you trying it, and you were getting it like, what, 5% of the time, and the switches just aren't even that far anyway.
Yeah, if we could find a reliable setup, it would skip a lot of this section. Enemies in this area give me the most levels out of any area that I do in the game. Thankfully, leveling up heals me to full, so it really comes in handy.
And remember, obviously, that due to the curved experience style of this game, because he's so low, he's getting a ton of experience every single kill, and we mean a ton.
Oh, yeah, this corner is kind of glitched.
You jumped there like 3 or 4 times, and you didn't even go up at all.
Yeah, some corners in this area are like that. So I'm going to take a detour. It's the longest detour I do for the donation incentive, and it's kind of annoying because I actually have to kill extra red enemies that have a really high defense.
And we really wish that obviously Toal can do his extra damage in the air, but because he's so weak on the floor, they are grounded enemies and very, very small as well, so it's actually hard to get the aerial hits off. I was positing ideas for kind of like being able to kind of find a way to get aerial hits, but it's very impractical.
Oh shoot, that did a lot. But since I'm at lower health, I can recover boost faster.
I guess I never explained why they were going in the tower in the first place.
Yeah.
Basically, the bad guys, the
Darklings,
yeah, the Darklings,
Zava and Dallas.
They're looking for the goddesses, and they captured one of them. But the main thing they want is the Black Pearl. So capturing one of the goddesses, it kind of partially got their goal, but they were still mostly looking for the Black Pearl, which was kind of why the Rhea cutscene there was important, because the Darklings, they want that Black Pearl, and Toal is agreeing to help, but he didn't actually get the Black Pearl.
Nice.
So this is a nice little jump trick that you can jump over these gates using wall runs and jumps. And I actually got that first try, which is really difficult to do. It only saves a few seconds. Like a lot of tricks in this game, it's kind of high risk, medium to low reward, but it looks really cool, and it's part of what I enjoy about this game as a speed run.
It is a very, very stylish game. And so you saw that he jumped really, really high. When you do kind of like wall runs, or you can do wall jumps, you actually jump higher than you possibly can. I just think that the right-hand side of every single sprite has this kind of strange like velocity factor when it touches the wall. Faster or better.
Yeah, now I could equip that right now and kind of skip a portion, but I kind of want to do this, like, just for the sake of what we do in a run, I just kind of want to grab the other piece of equipment in this area, the Phantom Boots. By the way, this door was the easiest door I've ever found. Like, literally my first time, I've told this story a couple times, the first time I was learning this game, I looked at this door, I didn't have the video with how to do all the skips ready. So I'm like, if I were a door clip, how would I go about doing it? And I put my mouse at a particular part on the door and just clipped right through it. And I'm like, this is great.
This room's quite tricky. You want to kind of like you want to hit them enough to kind of pull them over, and you want to drag them into this blood pool and just kind of mercilessly.
Yeah, this is pretty vicious. There's some unique ways to take care of enemies in this game, and this guy is not cooperating.
So yeah, the enemies take as much damage in the blood pool as you do. The blighted blood.
Is that blood? I've never known exactly what it is, and it's kind of poisonous. So
Yeah, I'm not sure if blood actually damages you.
use your imaginations. It's a video game, people.
It's cool you're in blighted blood, you know.
Could be lava.
Yeah, this door is very similar in where you want to be, but it's a lot harder because there's enemies nearby. And I got that first try, which is amazing.
It's a lot harder, he said, getting it without
So-
issue.
What is a door?
That's a good question.
A miserable pile of secrets.
Okay, so in the normal route, we grab the Phantom Boots here. I could equip the Phantom Mail, but I want to take less damage. So I'm going to equip those because the enemies in here will outright murder me if I don't. Also, who needs no fall mode? If you press L, oh my god.
What?
That would have been scary. Sometimes this game loses track of where you are and will reload you somewhere else. So that actually could have caused me to fall, which would be pretty funny if I say like, who needs no fall mode, right when I would have actually needed no fall mode. What no fall mode does is if I press F1, you'll see it at the top of the screen, go off and on. I'm going to leave it off because it does nothing. It reloads the room that I'm in rather than me falling to an area below. So these enemies here actually give some of the highest EXP in the game, and we're not quite in the final area yet. Also, they hit me with heavy, which is really bad.
It's fun watching Toal go ham. Hashtag Chinkin.
So yeah, little thing to note, wall runs also work in corners, and in fact, they kind of work more effectively sometimes.
Mind if I do a plugin?
Go right ahead.
All right, so RPG Limit Break is once again proud to be partnering up with the Yeti to bring 8 awesome-looking T-shirts. Head over to the yeti.com/RPG Limit Break to look at the designs. Pick up the ones you want and know that $3 from every T-shirt purchase will be donated to Nami. Remember that the Yeti is spelled Y-E-T-E-E. theyeti.com/RPG Limit Break.
What I want to do here is get a little bit of extra EXP. So this next boss is one of my favorites in this game. And I actually found a way to jump over his trigger just like we did with Konsklar, the previous boss, who's kind of this annoying starfish who pops out of the ground and just makes your life miserable. Just thank goodness we were able to skip him. I always hated that boss. This one, on the other hand, is actually quite a fun boss, and I'm kind of sad that we skipped him. So
Casually, he's very annoying.
he's very annoying on a harder difficulties, but in a speedrun setting, it's just fun to fight him.
Remember that we are running on easy mode because, as Ghost so eloquently put it yesterday, someone asked, "Well, why don't you run on very easy?" And he said, "It's because it's very easy." It's just it poses no challenge at all. I mean, easy mode is still obviously a lot easier. The difficulties do ramp up quite a lot, but this is one of those ones that just has enough difficulty.
Yeah, I've had a hard time replicating the skip recently, and I don't know why. So I'm just going to fight this guy as I would in a speedrun setting normally. It only saves about 40 seconds to skip him anyway, but he's also a great fight, so I think nothing is really lost by missing the skip.
Yeah, so what will happen in this fight is Pictimos will kind of puke out these little tiny versions of himself, and whenever he actually dies, they'll come back to him and will revive him. And the reason why he's annoying casually is because, yeah, you'll see the revive here. He's annoying casually because if you can't beat him before he does that move again, it just never ends.
That was a really good fight though, because the more of the little versions of Pictimos you see, the more health he restores. But Ghost Cat actually destroyed so many of them that only a sliver of health was actually recovered. If you do leave them, he'll recover up to like a third to a half of his health, quite a lot.
Yeah, kind of going back on the very easy thing. Part of the reason is I don't know this for sure because I only got this game last year, but this is what the runners had told me, that this game didn't originally have a very easy difficulty in-game time leaderboard. This game does have an in-game leaderboard, but it's kind of janky because it doesn't account for deaths, loading screens, reloads, which in an RTA you can or not. I don't know if it's real time, if RTA counts or is a single second. I don't know. You can reload a save, but that doesn't count towards your time, especially, and if you die, it doesn't count against your time as well. So the in-game time is rather inaccurate. But there didn't used to be a very easy leaderboard, so we just kind of defaulted to easy. There actually is one, but nobody runs on it because by now we just don't run on very easy difficulty because it's just too easy. I have a video on my channel of me doing the Hugo fight without even doing some of the more advanced things you can do to quick kill him, and I still killed him before he was able to get off one of his laser attacks. I killed him literally in one boost cycle, and that was insane.
This is a really, really cute cutscene where Toal is, he's in love with Rhea, and he's rekindling that moment, those feelings with her.
And then suddenly Hugo is like, I'm powerful now, and has dark power, and he's kind of possessed by the bad guys. So now they kind of get the Black Pearl, and since they witnessed Toal talking with the goddess instead of taking her on the Black Pearl, they're like, oh hey, so we know absolutely 100% that Toal is not on our side.
And he goes Super Saiyan.
Yeah, but his brother, who's already innately pretty powerful, has more magic than he was originally able to, and just kind of beats him down.
Sibling rivalry and all that.
We tried to look for a way to skip this cutscene because it's like 3.5 minutes, but the trigger for it is much higher than that of the boss triggers.
You have to get the absolute perfect wall run.
Not even that. I believe you can do it with the infinite jump trick in 1.0.0.4. But you can't jump over this with wall runs, not with any setup that we've been able to find.
So Dallas confirming that he's indeed Captain Barbossa, taking the Black Pearl from us.
This is the tale of Captain Jack Sparrow. So kind of now Toal's like, well, I lost my woman, I lost the Black Pearl to the bad guys. I lost my brother. Where do I go from here? Well, Shion kind of comes in and is like, I can help you. And so now Toal is officially a good guy. So he gives you the Lila shell here, which you get very early on in the other characters' playthroughs. It's sort of like it tells you what to do, kind of to help you out. Toal doesn't really need it for very much, and he gets it so late in the game, but by now you've probably navigated this tower at least once so that you know the layout.
And then the music just goes over the top. Awesome.
The music in the last few areas is great. The music in all of the areas is great. I like so many songs in this game.
It took you a few times to get that one there. Can we count that as a ghost?
No. I can count that as it's awkward to control mouse controls to try and trigger statues. Also, because I fought that fight, I don't really need to fight any enemies here. I think I will just because they give some bonuses.
It may not seem like much, but every little kind of bonus just adds.
Actually, there's no point to doing that right now. I know they realize because I have to take additional time to go grab the Rota fruit.
I believe this is where we get our Gallic gun.
Yeah, it's going to be something special. I'll try and pull it off in the next boss.
You donated for it, you get it.
Mind if I give a shout out to our artists?
Sure.
All right, so I want to give some love to our community artists, especially LOK and Kari Fry, who are responsible for many of our sub emotes, which include RPG Dino and RPG Jerkbird. They're lovely emotes. And also give a shout out to Orlan and Max, who are the folks responsible for our stream overlays and can be found on Twitter at Orlan, OUROLEN, and Namax SRL, NAMU XSRL, respectively.
All right. So should have feed all the roos at this point. And this gets us burst, which I tend to mix boost and burst up all the time. Oops. No, that one does not count. Okay.
Wait for it, it's awesome.
And you can see earlier he was trying to jump over one of the walls, which is kind of with the... He could only do it with the mouse movement, I believe.
Yeah, you can only jump into corners with the mouse in order to get up something like that. There's a few areas in this, or there's a few parts in this area we use that for. It's pretty cool. You see just how many like different ways we go about doing areas. So I have a little note next to me that reminds me to equip the Brave armor because I tend to forget that and lose runs to this next boss. So this confusion here is a pain in the butt. I'm going to try and show off a trick here. But confusion reverses my controls. Darn, I regained my ability to control myself. So this saves normally about 10 seconds. Also, I just got confused again. There we go.
In practice, that's very, very tough, yeah. In practice, I still remember Ghost King struggling to get it normally, and then as soon as the controls reversed, he got it first time. So
It's pretty great.
I guess that's how you do it.
It's a pretty janky trick, and world record got it first try.
I believe that there's only one specific spot on those stairs that you can even do that trick.
Yeah, it's weird. Even if you're at the right height, like only one spot on there you can even do that.
Kishgal again.
So Bowie, you asked me to leave the screen on a particular line in this cutscene.
Yeah, it's it's quite brutal, the wording here. If we can just just 1 second, it's really, really nasty. So Kishgal, obviously being one of the Darklings, has unleashed his demon potential and threatens Toal with quite a line. Have you ever seen human gore flow like a waterfall? A man's inside decorating the wall. Beautiful!
Allow me to teach you such bloodshed.
Oh,
All right,
wow.
well, what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to make this fight an absolute cakewalk. So I'm actually a little over-leveled here, for once. Charged Inferno does massive amounts of damage. We use Charged Inferno and Charged Thunderclaw for a few different things in this run. So what I'm doing right here to attack him is... it doesn't do much damage, but it allows me to build up my boost a little faster.
Yeah, and Kishgal doesn't really care that they've betrayed. He just wants to fight.
Yeah.
It really does. There's a lot of blood and gore on the ground right there.
Didn't quite go the way you wanted it, did it, Kishgal?
So shoutouts to the best name of any item in this game. You got Rod.
It was a mystical and powerful item you just received.
Yeah, if you know about East 1, it ties into this game. You get the ability to go through mirrors. And it's weird how it works, but basically I have the ability to kind of move on in the game is really what it gives me.
And it's called Rod because in the original East it was called Rod as well, so they just kind of kept it the same. Note that anytime you see red text, it's because it's the person speaking with their demonic power as unleashed.
Yeah, and Toal refuses to go back into demon form.
Shout out to the other character who gets run in this game. Unica is a much less glitchy character, although she does still have a few glitches. Cough, Gelaldy door, cough. And I just made every Unica speedrunner just cringe when I say that, because that door is ridiculously hard to get. It's practically RNG.
Yeah, and everyone's just like, leave Kishgal to us. Go on, Toal.
The battle sounds in the background is there.
Yeah, so I want to go back quite a bit. You might think, well, isn't it faster to teleport back? But I did a timing, and it's a few seconds faster to just run to the next area rather than use the crystal to teleport back to the start of Demonic Core.
Plus, I imagine it's even a little bit faster with your reduced MP consumption.
Yeah, that too. I actually once fell into that pit right there, so that was something. I fully expect to go into Discord and see Suki point out that I didn't account for one time that I made a mess up.
So this is a really, really nice area. This is a maze. There are a variety of different mirrors you can go through. Obviously, we know exactly where we're going. There is a lot more to find in this game. It may seem quite, linear in parts, but that's just how speedrunning goes, I guess. You know exactly where you're going every time. There's a variety of items to find in here, variety of enemies to fight. One more Clariot ore. We're perhaps going to see a Gallic gun sometime soon, maybe.
Yeah, this gives us max power. I'll try and pull it off in the next boss fight. So this is kind of a reference to East 1. There's a similar area, and it also has a very similar music theme. Which when I played East 1, it felt oddly nostalgic, considering I've only owned this game for a little over a year. Okay, so this actually is not necessary because this boss fight is easy as heck. But you can enter this fight with no collision detection, and yeah, you make an already easy fight even easier.
Zavo's already pissed at you for just destroying all the demons and having a license to kill all of her demons. So,
well, she's gonna get even more mad at me for destroying this game.
Yeah, and now that it's confirmed that Toal backstabbed them, not that they really trusted him that much in the first place, she's really pissed off and going to fight him.
Being a very, very powerful demon, though, she has the ability to summon, and will summon two rather large faces.
Yeah, again, a boss from East 1, and they're so mean in that game. Like, I got stuck for a while on these guys.
Shout outs to my morning face. Just don't wake me up early, all right?
Had to get up at what, like 9 for this?
It was no. I actually got up at 7. It was too much. So you want to attack Zava, neither of the faces. However, at certain points, Zava will basically go into one of the faces, the heads, and you see now she's gone in, and then there are 4 crystals going around. Means you have to hit that one, and then it will swap over, and you have to hit them 4 times, and then you will release Zava from the head, and then you go ham sandwich, garlic.
Not yet.
Oh, are you gonna try and finish her with the garlic?
Yeah! It didn't do any damage, but it looked really cool, so I don't care.
I only say it's like garlic gun because it's purple and not.
So now she's trying to suck me in with the red guy here and keep me away from finishing her off. Thankfully, she didn't do her most annoying attack, which can just eat up time. There we go.
Nice.
There's actually a nice way to really quickly kill this boss, but I didn't get it. It's kind of precise timing to jump up and hit her in mid-air before she's able to like attack again. So now she's kind of revealing that she too has the ability to turn into a demon, and Toal is like, no, not you too. Except for her power allows her to just summon like a beast.
Or I think just like infinitely spawning just guards. So he gets helped by the investigation team because he is side with the good guys now.
Who fights exactly like Adel in the Ark of Nepishtim.
Yeah, like Galleon here, who is actually the first boss of Toal's run when you play him casually, but we skip it because we can just clip right into the bat room and we don't need the key.
Well, Something.
It's that it's
Something called a key. We're
something
not sure what it
related-
is.
Something related to that thing that I had to find in Silent Sands at the beginning when I was doing the Walk of Shame.
Mind if I do another plugin?
Go for
ahead.
it.
All right, let's see here. So,
Shout out to
RPG.
the best music in the game.
Yes, this is amazing music. And while we're rocking out to this awesome music, I got a plugin. So, RPG Limit Break 2016 is in support of the National Alliance on Mental Illness, also known as NAMI. They advocate, they educate, they lead, and most importantly, they listen. If you need to reach out, please head to NAMI.org or use either hashtag Act for Mental Health or hashtag Stigma Free on Twitter, or tweet directly to NAMI with @NAMI Communicate.
So in these rooms, these enemies will put slime on the ground, and if I Godspeed into it, sometimes I can slide. Oh wow, there's another $5. I can actually slide into it, and then that accelerates my momentum.
And it just looks really cool to see you just accelerate across the entire area.
Again, that's just a physics abuse due to the fact that obviously we do get that slide animation, kind of like with what would have happened in the sands.
The slippery sands.
So if you thought anything else I've done in this run so far was convoluted, get ready for the next boss. This door clip is really special. I love just how dumb it really is. Just how like we get through the door.
Boy,
And
this guy.
it's a good setup, but it's something.
I believe this is a three-part setup.
It's a 3-part setup. I'm actually going to save again, do a safety save, just because I can mess this up and I don't want to risk that.
You can also see on that save file that he was only level 3 with Hugo, just to kind of bring home the fact that no one likes Hugo fact.
Especially me. So this is, I want to align here and then right here. There we go.
Nice.
So the next thing we have to do is align this right about here. Okay, we got it.
Nice.
So I've just entered this boss with no collision, and it's amazing to me, not because like, it is kind of easy killing all these bosses without taking any damage, but it holds a special place in my heart as a boss fight because as a new runner, I found Hugo to be so annoying to deal with in his fight. So getting to this fight, it was just massive payback.
I believe this is the last time we fight Hugo as well. Oh, ah.
Wow.
So going full on Toho to begin with. Obviously, he does the same. He has the same kind of tendencies. He will have a few extras, but a lot more dangerous without this collision detection being gone. But
Yeah,
the
it's
same
about 50
kind-
seconds longer.
The same kind of tactic, though. Gallic gun.
It's not enough to finish him, but it's enough
Special
to do
beam
some.
cannon.
It's enough to do some damage.
Yeah, and you can kind of see the originally 6 eyes and then eventually 8 eyes.
You lost a lot of blood right there for somebody to be standing up. You can't really see it too well, but there's a lot of visual effects on the screen of just blood on the ground during boss fights like that.
Arg.
And it just kind of goes to show like how powerful Hugo actually is, because the people can barely even control 1 eye, and right there he was controlling 8. So kind of in this cutscene we have kind of alluded earlier with some of the other people that Epona and Hugo are actually kind of sort of meant for each other. They have similar personalities. So
Yeah, in Hugo's story they elaborate on it more, but they have this sort of romance subplot where, although they're both on opposite sides, they kind of like neither. I don't think Epona is like a really evil character so much as she is just kind of a jerk.
I think she was just
which
more.
is pretty appropriate for Hugo, honestly.
She just more happened to be on the Darklings, and just because that's where she happened up, just was. She wasn't necessarily evil. She just ended up being on their team anyway.
So yeah, Hugo, having been tamed by his brother, helps out the woman he was previously beating up as we entered the room. So shout outs to Toal being the big brother that all big brothers are.
And I believe before you found the invincibility trick, that was one of the most difficult fights in the entire run.
Yeah, that one is a real pain. I somehow was able to do it in one of my old PBs, which was a 138.38 or 138.08, and I did that in a race, and that was really exciting. So again, I'm not gonna mess this up. I'm going to equip the Goddess Ring, which is essential, almost essential to a speed run of the final boss. It gives us 5 defense and 5 strength, which doesn't seem like much at this point, but it actually really adds up to our total damage.
Yeah, there are things, especially kind of in East, this and Ark of Nepishtim especially. I know that's a bit of a tangent, but there are times when you have like these walls that if you just get one extra level up or one extra stat increase, it will just kind of just change between like 1 and then like maybe 10, 11 damage. So every little stat increase is really important and helpful.
Yeah, they turned the final boss from could be frustrating to not really that difficult, which is kind of nice when you're a runner. It isn't the most satisfying final boss to finish with, but it's still actually a pretty cool boss, and on the harder difficulties, he can really give you a nice challenge. So we are at the ending bosses. There'll be, normally this boss, Dallas, is actually the final boss of Unica and Hugo. However, Toal has an additional boss afterwards. So, and it's great as a runner because there's about 4 minutes of fight and about 7.5 of cutscenes between the start here and when we call time.
Gallic.
You already did the
I know,
laser.
yeah. And then you got special beam cannon right back.
Yeah, the funny thing is we don't pick up burst in a run, and there's actually an achievement for never using burst until the final boss.
For all you achievement hunters out there.
Some of the achievements in this game are weird. The first time you enable no fall mode, you get an achievement. And you can only enable in no fall mode on easy mode or very easy mode. So this is Dallas. He's kind of easy, but on harder difficulties, he can definitely start to challenge you, especially if you forget the Goddess Ring. So I'm going to charge my Godspeed here, and I'm not going to use it just yet.
Damage.
Yeah, there are multiple phases to this fight.
And he can just kind of RNG screw me and just go off to the side here. The Ring of Ease definitely helps here.
So he needed to use Godspeed there, the kind of wind element attack, to get rid of that wind shield. So now he needs to use fire to get rid of that fire shield.
Okay, now he's moving to a much more favorable position.
Switch from Toho to Mushihime-sama.
Somebody who knows Mushihime-sama. Great game.
Yeah, Black Label's a great game. Yeah?
Yeah, that's one of my favorite Danmakus. Also, now he's being a total jerk again. Oh wait. That's another Okay, that's another $5. I completely blanked. Sorry, I've been up for a while. So I'm in this phase. I'm supposed to actually kill these things in order to attack him. I forgot and just kind of thought I was chasing after them.
Gallic.
Okay, this doesn't seem to be doing a whole lot for me, but at least I was able to kill the cycle with it. I'm going to try and kill the final boss with it, but I make no promises on that. I considered submitting that as an incentive, but it's unpredictable when you even have boost for the final boss. All right.
So you had to defeat not only the shield, but then those 2 things on the side as well, in order to open up the shield to attack Dallas's weak spot. He has his own.
So this laser normally hits you really hard and you want to dodge it, but we're on easy difficulty and I have good armor, so it does very minimal damage. All right. I'm looking up and seeing the monitor and just seeing the A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Good name.
It's a good name. All right, so this is actually, I believe, the longest cutscene in the game. Yeah, some stuff happens here. Do you have any more donations to go through before we get to the final fight?
We don't have any donations right now, but I can do a bunch of plugins and talk about our prizes. So
Go for it.
first off, more about our artists. So we would love to say thank you to Kari Fry for designing the RPG Limit Break logo, several of our sub emotes, and some of our promo banners. Check out her work at karifry.com, which is spelled as KARIFRY.com.
And so, yeah, the final boss of the other two stories gets impaled with extreme prejudice here by none other than Kane Fact, Toal and Hugo's father.
This is the spy that was alluded earlier in the plot.
Yeah, Kane here doesn't mess around. And now he's in possession of the Black Pearl.
And if you notice with Toal's weapons, he's using claws, even though previously he used swords.
Yeah, at the very intro cutscene of this game, you see the goddesses kind of picking up Toal's sword that he just kind of had abandoned, you could say.
Mm-hmm.
And so part of their trip into the tower is they kind of want to find him and see what is up with him. Because after Saltova dies, he vanishes, basically. I mean, they kind of went rogue already, but especially they know that he died, so they have to go and find out what happened with Toal. And yet again, in a cutscene, Toal seems to get knocked down on his back.
I think in-game Toal's a lot stronger than cutscene Toal. Cutscene Toal seems a little bit unprepared.
You know, it's usually the opposite, which is kind of unusual that you can do that. And again, with the magic barriers, it's like...
This one seems a little bit more exhausting on Rhea's body, so she's fallen to the ground now. Kane being the big baddie.
Here we go.
Gallic gun!
Does nothing. It doesn't finish the big. It doesn't finish the big bad, just like in DBZ. So now that he's in a pickle, I'd leave it up to the other goddess to come save the day.
Just want to shout out to the shading right now on Fina's model. It's fantastic.
I love this, right? I don't even know if they're sprites or models or what. I call them sprites. But anyway, she gives him the silver sword. But if you know from East 1, the silver sword is necessary to beat the final boss, even though it is not the final sword you get. So this is a reference to that, although the silver sword in East 1 doesn't have the same properties this one does. Also, shoutouts to this game's awesome title theme, which you hear in the FMV that plays at the beginning of this game. Genesis Beyond the Beginning is the name of the song, and it's pretty cool.
And this is Toal's original weapon. It originally broke, and the goddesses, I believe they fixed it somehow. I forget how, but they come back with the sword completely fixed. And because of that, it's like a sword that can break through all the demonic essence. So if it wasn't for that, then we wouldn't be able to beat Toal's dad at all.
All right, so now we're coming up on the final boss, which is Darm Fact. He's not super hard, but he can mess with us in a few different ways. So he has a few different phases, which he'll switch to, and it's RNG which one he switches to. This first one will always be the same, and we want to attack him in the center here. because his actual health bar is found with the Black Pearl. So if you'll notice, the Silver Sword here has the ability to shoot spears of light.
You can see them just going off in the background there.
And also, the health bar is not really a health bar. You can see it go all the way back up. It's you have to go through each phase each time, so it's not like you're just trying to do as much damage as possible. It's just you go through one phase and that's about it.
And Ghost King was mentioning earlier that the less HP Toal has, the faster his demon or his burst gauge. Boost gauge. The lower HP he has, the faster that increases. So by taking intentional damage and not worrying about being hit like here, it allows him to basically get his boost gauge back quicker.
Yeah, it also happens based on when I get hit, like for each hit that I take, and don't worry, I make the mistake of boost and burst all the time.
I thought I had it, and then you were mentioning it, and I got confused. The time's coming up very shortly.
So we got one more cycle to go, and then I can deal the finishing blows.
It's only the final phase that you really need to try and get as much damage in as possible on the core.
Yeah, so the final time is when his health is 0 now, but he's going to do one last kind of desperation thing, and hopefully I can not get knocked out of the arena. And it's really annoying to hit him. So when his health runs out, the screen is going to like flash, and I'll call time then. Okay, I'm just taking a bunch of hits. All right, let's see if I can't do this. Go on.
Nice.
Nice.
Time.
Roarg.
I really wanted to do that.
Finished off with the Gallic gun in style, sir.
So now he does the final cutscene power blow to the enemy, or to the darn fact. Just as a note for in-game time leaderboards, it doesn't count until actually after you're finished with all the post-final boss cutscenes. But since we're holding down the text skip button, that's basically going to be the same. So we time it at final hit.
Mind if I plug in the incentives for our upcoming games?
Sure. We got a couple of cutscenes, and we're done here.
Not a problem. So our next game is The Elder Scrolls II Daggerfall, and our first off, we have the character name, which is a 31 character limit. In the lead at $75, we have The Law, followed by at $60, Germant Remo Larmy at, I already said $60, and in third place at $7, we have, let me see if I can get this right, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, B, L, B, L, B, haha.
I love that name. I wouldn't vote for it, but I love that somebody actually put that in.
All right, and so for our main character, you can change the default character portrait with other images, and we have a few choices. In the lead is Judge Dredd at $120. We have the Demon Chocobo at $53. At 1 cent, we have Alondra, and with no money, but you can throw money towards it at any time right now. We have the New, we have Ness, we have Kafka, and we have Shining Force 2 Bowie, not to be confused with Bowie on the couch.
Although that would be awesome if there was just a random picture of me in the game.
That's what I was thinking too. Anyway, so for our class name, it's a 14 character limit. In the lead, at $10, we have Street Judge. And at $5, we have Werewolf, and that's W-H-E-R-E Wolf.
All right, so with this cutscene here, Toal is, after doing all that action, he's utterly exhausted and his body can't move. So the goddesses come up to try and seal the Black Pearl. And yeah, so this is why there's this whole star-crossed lovers relationship that's just not fated to be. But this has dispelled all the demonic power, and the goddesses turn to statues.
And Toal's not happy about that, hence him screaming no in the previous thing.
Yeah, so this purges him of his demon powers, so now he's back to regular Toal fact. Throughout the game, his name actually was listed as Demon Toal, but now he's just regular Toal, has his blonde hair back, so he actually kind of looks like his brother. And his name is just Toal. The scene is actually kind of, although it makes sense when you played East 1, it is still pretty sad. Because Unica was kind of really close friends with the goddesses to the point where they considered her almost their baby sister. So she's kind of like, Toal, why didn't you stop them? And he's like, well, they did what they had to. And so this is just kind of a farewell cutscene to the story of this game.
Yeah, this is the canon ending as well. So.
Other characters have different endings, and the nice thing is the different endings have very different story events. I won't say much about them, but suffice to say certain characters live that don't in this route, and vice versa.
And I don't think you even see Toal at all until you actually get to his own story.
You see him actually a few times in Unica and in Hugo, but it's really late in the game.
He's just like alluded to when he pops up.
Yeah,
there's no like definition for him.
Yeah, and he's only referred to as the Claw because the name Toal is actually a reference to East 2. I love seeing the tower in the background with Rado's Annex just sticking out there because it looks like the tower is kind of like smoking a pipe, like all classy.
So this is this tree here is I can't remember exactly its exact name. It's been so long since I played the beginning of Unica's story. Crikey. Well, basically, this tree is a spirit, and Unica is asked by the spirit to go to the tower and help the expedition team, in her story at least, to climb up the tower and go and find the goddesses.
Yeah, so if you looked at the background throughout this game, it was like volcano and really nasty looking, but in East 1, in the whole area, this continent is very lush. So a lot happens in the 700 years between these games, but it kind of starts here. Like you see the Rhoda tree, it's called.
The Rhoda tree.
Which gives us the Rhoda fruit that feeds the ruse. You see that in East 1, and it's a lot more vivid looking than like the bleak environments you see in this game. So Toal and just everyone there, like Xion and all the other characters you see in the other stories, but don't really get much of a role or name in this one, especially not in the speed run. They all head back to the land of Ys, which, yeah, is where the name of the game comes from. And Hugo and Unica just kind of stay behind with a few others. So that is the end game cutscene. There's another FMV that plays, but it just skips right here. So this is the fin screen, basically. So that is Ys Origin, everybody.
With a final shout out to Rhea.
All right, so right now we are going to commercial break. We will be right back.
Cool. Cheers, guys.
What was our final count on ghosts?
You need that sleep.
I have
8. All right.
I'm willing to bet somebody's gonna pop me in Discord and say no, it's not.
I'm about to bed, and I woke up and showered just in time for her, so I just kind of barely passed. You did well yourself. I'll just chill here. That's what I was going to do all along. Yeah, just one. This is... Enjoy that.
All right, guys, just to confirm, we did end up with 8 ghosts by Bowie's count. And if you did enjoy Bowie's commentary on that last game, do tune in a couple of hours for his Final Fantasy Adventure run, which is going to be a lot of fun, hopefully. So, my name's Bob the Ninja Goldfish. I'm taking over from Wandering Mind from the last game, who did an absolutely fantastic job.
Thank you.
Now, before we go any further, while Puri Puri is setting up, we do have a special announcement. We have added a donation incentive. The donation incentive is if during Daggerfall we get $250 to this incentive, Puri Puri will run Oblivion Any % straight afterwards. Ooh. So if you've not seen the Oblivion Any % route, it's pretty fantastic. So how's things going out there in Streamland? Huh?
So we gotta cut out those incentives like right before I start.
Works for me. So that being said, let me double check on what the incentives stand at right now. Right now, he said waiting for Chrome to refresh because of reasons. When it comes to character name, you have The Law at 75, Germansch Rummel Army at 60, and an assault ABCDEFGHIJ letters at $7. The character portrait